Hello and welcome everyone to New Moon 2021 Cycle 11. Today I'm your host playerzero and welcome again to the final stream before Blood Moon starts. So we have a stream full of amazing matches today, so make sure to stay tuned. But before we start, I should explain how the tournament works and what is Blood Moon. So normal New Moon is our weekly round robin tournament series. So it's basically a round robin tournament, so everyone plays each other, but it's also played throughout the week, which makes it a lot easier for people to play their matches and they don't have to worry about meeting a specific schedule. And after 3 New Moon cycles, we have Blood Moon. So New Moon is usually more casual, more relaxed, people are trying out different builds and stuff like that. But Blood Moon is a multi-week cycle, so it has 2 stages: the bracket stage, which is similar to the normal round robin in New Moon, but it also has a top cut stage, and in the top cut stage, the placements or the seeds, as you can call them, will be decided based on the round robin stage. Obviously, we will be covering streams for both the round robin and top cut stages until the end, so make sure to stay tuned, and the winner of the Blood Moon will receive the special Moon Master Roll. And you can still join Blood Moon, so signups will end today at 10 PM PST, so time is a bit short, but you can still get your build in before then, so make sure to do that if you're interested in joining. And the format will be standard BN6, so it's basically similar to this stream and the previous 2 streams that we've had. So if you've seen any of these, you basically know what you're going into. And without further ado, going to be joining on commentary today is Symes. Hello, Symes.
Yeah, hello, players. As mentioned, Blood Moon is coming up, so I'm excited for that. But before that, we have a series of great matches today. I think with 12 different players being showcased in total, so it'll be good to see a lot of variety with the builds today.
Alright, and with that, let's head into our first match with Korota vs Master. Okay, so if we look at the setups, just going to briefly explain. So this tournament is public setups, which means that everyone is able to see what everyone else is playing. And based on that, we're going to explain what the players might have in mind or some of their builds and how they interact. So on Korota's side, they are running the M-Code build, which does have few interesting options. So they have Train Arrow, Iron Shell, and the Time Bomb, which are very rarely seen. How do you feel about these extra tech choices, Symes?
Yeah, I think the M-Code's pretty good. They have both the Iron Shell 3 and the Golem Hit 3, so I'm seeing that's a lot of slash cross 8, but unfortunately here, they're not up against the Gregor with slash cross, they're up against another Falzar, so those Iron Shells unfortunately will be basically useless here, but we still see the Train Arrow and also Risky Honey and M-Boomer, which can both be charged with Tomahawk Cross for a lot of damage. So, and of course with M-Code, we see the best sword, Muramasa. And they also have BDT as their Giga, so we'll see if they're able to get anything out of the BDT.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'll agree with best sword Muramasa, but it is an M-Code, which can make it a very strong option, especially when combined with things like Windrak, which is direct in Korota's case, or Grab Banish, which basically they can push the opponent and allow for that Muramasa to basically be a confirmed setup, which can be very devastating if it lands, especially on Master, who is also playing Falzar, which means there is a potential for Tengu Cross to come out.
Yeah, and you bring it up, but taking a look over at a Masters setup, they're also in Falzar, and we can see they have Shift Shuffle in their Navi Cust, which is rare to see, especially with Falzar. And we also see they have S-Code setup, so we see the Train Arrow, Bubble Star, Aqua Dragon, so that's all chips that benefit from Spout Cross. along with the 2 bamboo swords and risky honey, which benefits from tomahawk cross. So I think in this match from both sides, we're going to be seeing a lot of spout and tomahawk crosses on both sides. And we also see they have hub batch as their giga, so this is going to be a hub batch against BDT matchup, so that should be pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, extra interesting is also that both of them are running the 2 train arrows 3, so both of them have different setups. Korota is more leaning toward actually no, Korota doesn't really have other freeze options. Yeah, so it's the other way around. So Master is more leaning toward the freeze with the Aqua Dragon, and maybe setting up with the Bubble Star, whereas Korota might end up having to go for just a straight up trainer.
Yeah, the one thing I'm seeing about both of them is they don't really, with train arrow, so the way it works is the farther away you are from your opponent, the more arrows spawn. So ideally when you use it, you want to be in the back of your area, and you also want them to be in the back of their area. And so the problem I'm seeing here is that neither of them really has any way of like pushing their opponent to the back of their area. So in both cases, they would be able to camp at the front and force there to be less of the arrows that spawn. So even if they got hit, it would be much less damage.
Yeah, and I mean, both S and M code are very explosive, so even if we don't count the boost that we get from Spout Cross in both cases, we have a lot of high damaging chips, we have basically a lot of options from both builds. I really like both of them just as general folders.
Yeah, and so one last thing, actually looking at it, there's no life aura in Master's folder, so it'll be interesting to see how they're able to play around that, not having life aura. But with that, I think we should be good to head into the match.
Alright, let's go and see how it ends up playing out.
We see Korota going into that dust cross. Oh wow, and we already see the BDT coming out from Korota. We see the turn 2 BDT. Oh, and dodges the bubbles. Looks like Korota's going into Tomahawk Cross here, and see if they're able to connect with those. That could be a lot of damage this turn.
Alright, so sorry for interrupting the match, but basically we have difficulties, so going to have to pause the match, and then I'll try to quickly fix the issue. Sorry about that. Okay, apologies for the issues. Hopefully everything should be fixed now. We're going to switch into the scene. Feel free to say something in chat if it's
Yeah, so we're seeing Korota going straight into the dust cross here. Oh, and apparently we still don't have the... this...
okay, back to troubleshooting, I guess. Just 1 second. Okay, so sorry for all the technical issues. Just going to test if the game audio is going through now. And let me know if it is. There should be audio play. Okay, so apologies for all the technical difficulties that we've been having. We will probably end up doing something different, so the stream might end up going down for a few seconds, but it should come back up right away. So if that happens, obviously that's expected. And yeah, I really don't know why this is happening, so hopefully the restart will fix everything and we will be able to go to the matches. Okay, so as mentioned before, the stream will be going down for about a minute or so while we switch stream operators, so apologies for that, and we'll be back very shortly.
Okay, testing. Is this thing on? Okay, cool. All right. Hi guys, I'm your host, playerzero.
Wait. What? Okay, I mean, I guess that was playerzero.
All right. Okay, hello, playerzero number 2. I'm playerzero number 1. Let's get back into the match. All right, we'll be starting over from the beginning. Let's see if it works this time. Words, talking, casters, turn on, casters on.
All right.
Yeah, so hopefully it sounds like it's finally working now. So with that, let's finally get into this match. We're seeing Korota here going into the Dust Cross. We see all these M code chips. So it looks like they're starting with the area grab.
And we are starting with the cracked field panel, so both of them will have to be a bit careful with their movement so they don't end up being trapped.
And so that full cust actually came out from Master, and they baited out Rush. And here we see a turn 2 BDT for Korota.
Ooh, turn 2 Bug the Thunder is very nice because now they can start pressuring, and it's especially nice against that fast cross we can see. And if the D-cross lands, then it will be both very painful in terms of damage and also denying all of the potential that chip charge that can have.
Oh wow, and we see the Beast Out come out from Master, and they actually keep their trap, but...
Ooh. Okay, going into it, so probably to deny the cracked panels from affecting the movement. But Spout did survive one turn, though we did see one of the train arrows unfortunately going into the anti-damage there.
It looks like now we see a Korota going for a Tomahawk cross here with these risky honeys and M-boomers, so this could be a lot of damage coming out here, but we see the area grab TFC.
So the Alrysc pulse, the anti-damage will block. Let's see if the... that D-cross is going to be very painful, and losing out on the risky honey times 2 as well.
Yeah, that was a big element man there for Master, but we still saw all those bees coming out, and it looks like they actually got some extra swarms of bees there because from the Falzar Feather Buster. And now we see Korota is going for that time bomb, so we'll see if that manages to land. That would be pretty hype to see a time bomb land.
Ooh, Raceman's going down.
Yeah, and unfortunately the machine gun was interrupted, so... Ooh, it looks like they have a trap other than anti-damage up. Yeah, going back to Master's setup, they also have an anti-sword, so...
Ooh! Denying that Master and then getting the D-cross on top of it as well with the anti-sword. this is really big value. This is actually looking like a pretty difficult situation for Korota.
Yeah, but they do at least have their life aura here. So with this life aura, they will likely be able to survive until the next turn. The question is, will they be able to do enough damage to Master to close this HP gap?
Ooh, that TFC and that Slashman should be enough to finish off the game, I think. Oh no, it wasn't! So
Yeah, but unfortunately, Korota missed their erase man and stuff that turn, so they did get some damage out of the wind rack here, but will it be enough?
Ooh, nice blocking that Bug the Thunder with the risky honey, but and now we're going into the costs. We see that Korota has an aqua chip, and aqua chips in Spout Cross give 50 HP healing. So the undershirt will end up proccing again.
And we'll see if Master goes into Tengu Cross here to blow away this life aura or not. Ooh, Beast over.
Windruck does connect and then into the Alec Pulse for a very quick finish to the game.
It's a good thing no one can hear me. Wait, you guys can hear me. That's not good.
Yeah, that was a very risky Beast over there, because if that wind rack, if Korota had managed to step past it, that probably would have been the game for Korota, but so we see here Korota once again going for that Tomahawk Cross with all the wood chips. We'll see if this time oh wow, they had, why didn't they TFC anti-damage there? They could have protected their Tomahawk Cross. Instead they're going for the D Cross on Spout with the Judgment. We'll see if this decision pays off for Korota or not. Korota did lose out on all the extra damage on those risky honeys, but I guess they really wanted to get the D-Cross on Master, considering how much Aqua Chips Master has to use with Spout Cross, so it's definitely a tough decision. Oh wow, I'm not sure what happened with that anti-damage TFC on the Judgment. They TFC'd the Judgment on the anti-damage, and then they lost both of them. Yeah, I'm not sure if I've ever seen that before. That was a pretty weird interaction.
Interesting. Might be able to check the clips later and see if why that could have happened.
Ooh, and Master manages to avoid that M-Boomer, so... Ooh, and gets the freeze. There we see that time bomb again.
that's, I believe, anti-sword, which looks like that survived the machine gun, but let's see if the time bomb is going to stick. Ooh. Looks like it does.
So we saw the Beast Over come out from Master in the last round to finish it. Now it looks like Korota's going for their own Beast Over to try and finish the round right here and tie the set up. Let's see if the Beast Over is successful or not. The double Beast Over. Ooh.
Let's see what the beast ends up doing. Obviously, neither of them can take any damage, but at the start of next turn, it's going to be very interesting because Master is the one with the lower HP, so Korota would be able to deal the buster shots if Master doesn't have anything, which they could very well have.
Yeah, and especially with this life aura here from Korota, we'll see if Master has any way of dealing with that.
Ooh, the bubble beast! If only they waited just a split second, because so the drain from after Beast Over is 1 HP per frame. So it would have gone down very quickly, and in fact, even in the bubble status, they probably would have been able to just finish the game there.
This is
just waiting.
This is so close right now. So, yeah, with that invis, Master was still able to survive and make it to this next turn. So, hub batch, do they?
Ooh! And the buster shot, the anti-damage, that shield play was very nice.
It looks like they didn't have a wind rack there to remove the life aura, but if they almost managed to survive, if they had actually made it to the next turn from that, that would have been crazy. So that was a very close second round. Seeing the double Beast Over, that was wild.
Yeah, Beast Over is actually pretty rarely used because it's basically mostly useful as the final option you want to go with. Ooh, that counter hit.
The counter hit into the time bomb. Ooh, and now a counter hit of their own, and that was interesting. So the counter hit Ice Dragon there, as we saw, it caused a paralysis instead of a freeze. And then so it kept the ice panels, their aqua panels there. Was there aqua? Yeah, they used the ice seeds, so it preserved the ice panel. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's actually a very rare interaction, but this might be the first time I see it where it actually affects the game. Ooh, unfortunately, because of beast outs forcing you to jump into the attacks, Master ended up missing all of that turn basically.
Yeah, that was a very unfortunate turn there for Master.
And I think even the bubble and trainers weren't charged, so that was a lot of potential damage missed out on. All coming out. If it's slightly too late, let's using the bees a bit too early, that probably would have been able to block the flash bomb.
And so a rush comes out here at the end of turn to paralyze, so we will likely see a Master crossing out of Spout here. And it looks like Korota's just going for a more defensive turn here with the life aura, although as we see they also have BDT in hand.
Ooh, life aura comes down. Let's see if Master has anything to deal with it right away. Though it looks like they have good number of area grabs, so Korota wouldn't be able to maintain the positive area pressure. The positive pressure on area. Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like they don't have anything, so they're basically just using their chips, or maybe their zone truck at the end. No, that seems unlikely. Yeah, that's unfortunate. They were digging for the embers though.
Yeah, and we'll see if they go for a Tengu Beast here. The problem with Tengu Beast is it is much harder to get the gusts with the command if you're in Beast out due to the Buster being instant. Ooh. And that Muramasa unfortunately misses from Korota. They used it while Master was still invisible.
Ooh, and again, another very well timed Element Man from Master being able to decross and lower the damage potential by quite a bit. But unfortunately, Korota used their chips a bit too early and ended up missing a lot of things.
I'm starting to wonder now, are we gonna see another Beast over here?
Ooh, that is true. I mean, Master did use up all 3 turns of Beast out, so we might end up seeing that very soon.
Yeah, and especially with Korota going into Spout Cross here, if Master uses an Elect Pulse, that could be a lot of damage. What?
Ooh!
What even happened there? All the bees and into the golem hit?
Oh,
The golem hit to finish it off. That was a crazy ending.
yeah, that was a really crazy match to see there. I mean, there was a lot of back and forth, and I mean, they both end up going into Beast over at some point. Yeah, well played to both sides. That was very close.
Yeah, definitely well played to both players. These are 2 of our newer players, so they definitely put on a good show for us there, especially with that crazy ending. And so unfortunately that will already be it for me on commentary today. So Eurasia will be jumping on next. So that's it for me. Later, guys.
Yeah, thank you for joining, Symes. That was a lot of fun testing the game. Unfortunately, with the difficulties we had at the start, we couldn't do any longer, but now hopefully everything's good.
Yeah, I only had a limited amount of time today, so I was hoping to do a few more matches, but that's just how it goes sometimes. So hopefully next week we'll be able to do more.
Yeah, especially for that Blood Moon coming up soon, so hopefully streams will be very exciting as well. We have a lot of matches.
Hello, it's me, playerzero.
I'm starting to feel like we have a player 1 joining it, in this call, but who knows?
All right, is Eurasia's Navi working? Hello, 1, 2, 3, Eurasia. Okay, well, let's go into the setups, anyways.
Okay, while Eurasia is joining us, he's traveling through the tubes, so he's still not here. We're going to quickly look at the next match, which is Neryth vs EasyA. So if we start by looking at Neryth's sides, Neryth is running the usual, basically Neryth type build. He has basically no defense, or very limited defense. He does have Sanctuary, Life Aura, and interestingly enough, anti-recovery.
Yes, hello, I'm Eurasia. Yes, this is actually, I believe, the setup that Neryth ran and won the 20th anniversary with.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. I didn't notice the similarity. Ooh, so we might end up seeing. I mean, if I remember correctly, anti-recovery played a big role in that tournament. So who knows? We might end up seeing it today. Okay, and so just to briefly go through the build, it's a W code build. He has bamboo sword, summon blacks, and boomer, so he's going to be relying a lot on tomahawk cross, but he also has these Geddons as well. So one of the things I believe we saw previously was Neryth starting turn 1 with a Geddon into 3 Gandel Soul to deal massive damage to an opponent that doesn't have air shoes. And looking at EasyA's side, it looks like EasyA does indeed have no air shoes, even though it is a Gregar build. So this is an interesting choice that EasyA decided to go with. So usually most Gregar builds, since Gregar as a version, you don't really have access to air shoes outside of your Navicast air shoes or float shoes, in fact. So most people end up running one of them in their Navicast, but obviously because of the shape and wanting to run attack max, you end up being very limited on what you can run. But this time looks like EasyA decided to go for the high utility route. So they have beat, rush, 2 extra custom, and obviously the attack max. Though interestingly enough, they only have charge 3 instead of the charge max. So we'll see if that ends up playing into the match. And looking at their folder, so they are running T code, which I think personally is pretty underutilized code. It's a very fun code and it has quite a lot of potential. So you have the TSP navies in Tomahawk Man and Tengu Man SP, which can have a wide range of decrossing options. But you also have things like Heat Dragon, Wood Dragon, and interestingly enough, looks like EasyA is going for that Tornado Airspin play. So we'll see if that ends up landing, especially with Neryth having no defense at all or very limited defense. So if that combo starts going into action, then it's basically going to be unstoppable. But interestingly enough, EasyA also decided to splash some of the other navies. So we see Spoutman SP and the Blastman SP, which are very strong navies on their own right as well. And I believe finally there is the Super Vulcan, which I feel like we've seen in other builds as well. And the Z-Code Delta Ray and Recovery 200s. So the main weakness of the anti-recovery that Neryth is running is that when it works, it's actually really good. But most of the time, it doesn't work. Your opponent either ends up removing it with a machine gun or a circular gun in this case, or they just force you to overwrite it. But since Neryth, that's literally the only defense Neryth has. So as soon as we see a trap, and as soon as EasyA sees a trap coming up from Neryth, it will be very obvious which one it is. And ideally, they would try to avoid using recoveries afterwards. But I mean, obviously, we'll see how that ends up playing out. And hey, welcome Eurasia, welcome to the stream.
I've been here.
Ooh, I mean, hopefully we'll be able to see the revenge playthrough in the Blood Moon, which is going to be starting on Monday.
I'm doing the talking. I'm talking about dark chips.
Okay, there we go. That was on my side. Okay, we're good now.
Okay, we're good to go. Neryth versus EasyA.
All right, well, let's head into the match, see how it ends up playing out.
I already know it's going to be a lot of fun.
Where's the playlist?
Huh?
It vanished.
Oh boy.
Hold up.
I was hoping with a name like EasyA, it'd be pretty easy. I've been misled.
Yeah. Wait, you can hear me? Hello?
I can hear everything.
Okay, alright, I think we're good now. Bye!
So then we'll be heading into the match.
All right, bad operation set. Execute. All right, I see we're over here watching this from Neryth's point of view.
Yeah, and we already see one of the Gandalf Souls and the Geddon as well, but it looks like Neryth is deciding to go for the slightly safer play with going into Dust with that Life Aura and probably digging through his folder trying to find more things.
Yes, the first turn Life Aura can really screw up a lot of plans. It's not always expected. So, really stinks to get a good hand and bam, Life Aura.
Yeah, and I think EasyA is actually not running Element Man, which could be an option with this grass field, but they do have the Heat Dragon or Blast Man SP, though I don't think they would want to throw away Blast Man SP into a Life Aura.
Well, EasyA is also packing Tingleman, so that is one option. But to get Tingleman so early, ooh, Circle Gun! Come on, Circle Gun! No! So close!
That's very unfortunate. This is one of the main issues with Circle Gun. I mean, it can be very difficult to actually land the attack, especially with the lag that can end up happening in online play. Ooh, nice, the anti-navi.
I mean, I don't blame it for being difficult. I want to see how many people can aim a gun while playing Battle Network. That has to be pretty tough.
I mean, machine gun aims pretty fun and that works.
Whoa. But you have to remember, machine gun has auto-aiming features. Circle gun, you gotta manually aim it.
Okay, I see. Now, since Neryth was able to keep that dust alive, he is going to be throwing chips into the back of the folder. And looking for more chips. And he already has that Meteor Knuckles, but he will probably want to wait for the extra area. And we do see two of the Gundel Souls probably going into the next turn.
Wow, get in Gundel Soul, panel grab, and Soul Gauge. This is not going to be a fun time.
Geddon does connect. Slow Gauge coming down, the Circle Gun.
But Circle Gun will not hit over holes.
Yeah, so unfortunately, even if that connects, that would have missed anyway, and there goes the Gundel Soul.
What? There's been a real slice, Nero.
Very nice. Being able to both interrupt the first Gundel Soul and dealing a lot of damage as well with that D-Cross.
Wow, that, I guess EasyA really asked the Neryth a question right there.
They're trading charges and they are actually very similar on HP right now, so they're about 30 HP or so difference.
Tomahawk Man does 280, right? At max damage?
Yeah, that's correct.
That was 560 damage right there. Big damage.
And that damage doesn't even flash the opponent, so being able to decross and not even apply flashing is what really makes Tomahawk really scary.
Oh yeah, there's that follow-up because Tomahawk Man is both sword and wood.
Yeah. So looking into Neryth's hand, looks like he's considering a few of his options. He does have a good amount of area control, so if he uses both the area grab and panel grab, he might be able to confirm the maximum number of hits on Meteor Knuckles. But looks like he's going for the slightly safer play, just taking it, trying to use that as a TFC whenever possible.
Man, that anti-recovery is gonna hurt. There it is! Ah! Poison! What? Delta Ray? Delta Ray! Oh, and it he put a white capsule on it! Or, sorry, white pill! Yo, EasyA, man! Nothing personnel, kid.
That was very close. I think, actually, if Neryth was able to TFC that Meteor Knuckles, that would have had a chance to block the Delta Ray.
Oh my gosh, That was an incredible back and forth between both players.
Yeah, no one really expects the white capsule Delta Ray until ends up finishing the game.
Yo, that tech is slept on. But I wonder, does Proto Man rub the pill on his sword, or does he break it open and put the powder on it? A lot of questions about how that works.
And these are very important questions that we consider while waiting through the turn. Which, speaking of the turn, this is going to be a very interesting starting field because of the ice panels. Because so what Neryth's trying there is to pull the opponent into the ice panels, and
Oh, he's in the middle. Circle gun. Circle gun can only target the other side of the field. Come on, come on. Yes, direct it. Oh, but direct it back.
and there is
Smack.
that. Barely missing out on the freeze. Nice.
That was shocking.
And looks like Neryth will be able to get the maximum area for Tango Lock.
Wow, that hit actually hit him at the last moment when his invisible came back.
And the punish again, the same play.
Oh my god, yo, if anyone asks EasyA what's his favorite deodorant, it's Pax. Because that's all that damage right there. Oh boy. Very unfortunate for Neryth both times to lose 560 damage to take 560 like that.
Yeah, and in both cases, I mean, Neryth was losing Tingle Cross in a very position. So the first one was the Gandalf Soul in last game, and this time he had the complete lock on for against EasyA. And Tango Lock, in case people aren't aware, is basically the highest DPS you can get out of the cross charge shots.
All right. The main reason for that is because Tango Cross's charge shot does not flinch and it's pretty fast.
Yeah, that's correct. So now Neryth is considering what he wants to take into the turn. So he does have a good number of options. One thing that he knows is EasyA basically has no outs from the area, unless obviously something like Grab Revenge coming out or that Sanctuary as well. So maybe Neryth is considering that if he wants to wait on Geddon when he wants to use that, especially with the Summon Black in hand.
Although you have to remember, EasyA only has one Grab Revenge, so that's not a high chance of it appearing.
Yeah, and they also run no Judgment either, so being able to pressure with area would be very good for Neryth if he can maintain. Neryth is considering Magnum. Magnum is one of the ways to be able to use that Summon Black, but Neryth would have to connect it in a specific position, because Summon Black only connects if your opponent is in front of you. So if Neryth breaks the road that, the column that EasyA is on, then obviously that wouldn't connect. But it looks like
that ×2 anti. Oh god.
Ooh.
Oh! Yo, double D-cross, man.
So that was...
This is a lot of back and forth, like, you punch me, take this. Take this back.
Yeah, and unfortunately I think EasyA was on the worst end of the exchange there with 3-frame anti... With that 3-frame Magnum, I mean.
Oh!
Ooh!
They're poisoned this drink!
And the anti-recovery playing a big part into this game as well.
Wow, Neryth, like, that's really mean of you. You poisoned EasyA's drink. Like, go, it's poison. Oh, man. Anti-recovery is pretty scary. It's kind of slept on because people don't really expect that.
Yeah, and I mean, especially in this match, we've seen both sides taking the perfect counter at the perfect time. EasyA with that Tomahawk Cross, with that Tomahawk Man, and then Neryth with the anti-recoveries.
Yeah, it's actually... this is what we call literally backs to the wall fighting. Ooh, that beat ate that.
They're starting with Sanctuary. Let's see if that Sanctuary is able to stick. Ooh, looks like most of it will be unfortunately gone because of that boomer.
Neryth, you fatty. Eating those rocks.
Ooh, that tornado action.
Neryth ate it! Yo! What a beast! No fear! He just said like, nah, that's nothing. Open wide.
Yeah, and he was standing on the holy panel, so that lowered the damage quite considerably as well.
Oh yeah, that was half of what it could have been, which could have been pretty bad.
Oh no, we're seeing that combo going for Neryth, that getting into the triple Gandel, so this might actually be enough to finish the game.
What? Triple? Neryth, you madman.
EasyA could still have some outs.
What?
Ooh.
Delta Ray!
Nice.
Yo, EasyA pulling out those Delta Rays!
And this is in Z code, so we might end up seeing Sanctuary or even... the
cost of full cost! This might be bad for Neryth. Yo, EasyA! Oh, clutching this! This gives EasyA an opportunity to get out of this sticky situation.
Neryth is still considering what he wants to do into the next hand. It looks like he's going to go into the hand with into the turn with the same hand, though unfortunately the Sanctuary coming down. Oh, I'm surprised Neryth is deciding. Okay, so he is chip charging now to remove these Sanctuary panels.
That. Oh man, that was. He was ready to go. He was ready to go all in with the Gundo song. You see, when people say take it nice and slow, tell them no, full cuss. Tell him, man, full cuss saves lives. Okay, it looks like Neryth isn't gonna knock just yet.
Yeah, it can seem like EasyA is in a very good position here, but don't forget that Neryth's folder is basically all attack, no defense, so he literally can switch the game in one turn.
Nice. Oh no! I don't know if it fell down the hole. Touch damage. Okay, so much happened. I blinked.
Yeah, it looks like unfortunately EasyA had his Windrak avoided by Neryth, and now is basically stuck in this position in slow gauge, which this is actually quite a bit of damage coming out from Neryth. Ooh, Neryth stepping back, so he might actually end up going for that same play again if he can find the timing or the reaction to try to dodge that Windrak. Or, in fact, his position is very good in avoiding Tengu Man SP and Tomahawk Man SP.
Oh, that's right. That one corner is the one corner which Tengu Man cannot hit. Got a blast.
Yeah, Last Man will deal with that life aura, but then there is that getting coming out. Let's see what Neryth ends up doing. Oh no, Neryth is also stuck there. Neryth doesn't have the air shoes option either.
Ooh.
Nice, being the patient to double hit.
Double!
Nice, being able to connect the Magnum. Just a single buster shot. There should be enough time.
Wow!
For the nice.
They're swagging with that shard shot. Oh man, that was incredible back and forth. That double hit really, really hurt.
Yeah, the double hit really did make all the difference there. If that didn't happen, then EasyA would have been able to survive one more turn, and I think go into Beast over.
Oh man, that did. I'm pretty sure that did like 600 damage. You're gonna hit twice like that.
Yeah, I believe. I mean, even more. I think that was around 700 and something.
That much? Oh my gosh. M Boomer is what, 180?
Oh, so okay, it was 680 in total. Bitmuffin's saying in chat.
170? Yeah, that's 340, and then 340 times 2, yes. Bitmuffin, you nerd. Yo, good game, EasyA. You played hard, and that was great. Neryth, good job.
Yeah, well played both sides. I mean, that was a really close match, and obviously there's the iconic thumbnail that we're seeing now with the Delta Edge finish for the game 1.
Nothing personnel, kid. All right, we're moving on to the next match.
Oh wait, that's me. Okay, 1 sec.
How about that airline food?
All right, so now we're going into our next match with DrugsAreBad vs playerzero.
Yes, drugs are bad. Please do not do drugs.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a shame that playerzero is totally running the stream and not the one talking now. They could have given us very useful insight on the build as well.
Yes, playerzero. Let's not be biased during this, but let's see how DrugsAreBad's strategy is going to be, because I'm seeing some H code up in here.
Yeah, so this is actually a very interesting build going in from DrugsAreBad.
Yeah, so we're seeing the Aqua Dragon Golem hit. Aqua Dragon can freeze you if you're standing on an ice panel. Combine that with Golem hit, a breaking chip, that's double damage right there. 500 right there.
Yeah, they also have the double lance, double windrak, and the ice seed. So they are going very much into planning around getting the extra damage, but they also have quite a bit of utility as well. So they are running hub, they are running the mega +1, which is always nice to see. So they might end up trying to go with all of these area grabs and pressuring with False Arch Archers.
Yeah, that's a pretty good Navi cuss. It's 1800. You got undershirt. You got custom +2. You got rush. Yeah, I am enjoying that forward. It is cool how we're gonna probably see Heatman SP, but we see that DrugsAreBad has 4 area grabs and 2 judgment. So there'll be no area taking this game.
Yeah, and so looking at playerzero side, so the build that I went with this week was very heavy on area. So I also have 5 area grabs, 1 grab banish, and that 1 judgment. So I think one of the things to look out for in this match is how the area exchange is going to work out. Both sides are going with area heavy, so area control will probably be very vital.
Yes, there's going to be quite a back and forth on claiming that area. Though it's pretty scary because playerzero has both Muramasa and Neovari, so 1 area grab will put DrugsAreBad in a right in range of getting hit by either one of those 2. So, and also playerzero is rocking damage. Bodyguard.
Yeah, so
yep, Bodyguard.
Interestingly enough, there is Bodyguard there, but there is actually no way of confirming it, I guess, other than Meteor Knuckles and hoping your opponent doesn't have air shoes. So we might not end up seeing Bodyguard itself as the Navi. I mean, as the PA. Where instead we might see the individual traps being used.
Rip Bodyguard, a fantastic PA, and I believe it's the first PA that we've seen so far.
I think so, yeah.
But like you said, since you have no way to confirm it, since it's really easy to dodge, and DrugsAreBad has super armor, there's practically no way to confirm it. So we're gonna see his components in action. So playerzero, are you ready to watch this match?
Alright, I'm ready. I'm looking forward to see what ends up happening.
Indeed, let's do it. Yo, Heatman already? Yo. First turn Heatman.
Okay, so we are starting with the cube field. So both sides are playing Falzar, so we might end up seeing both or one of them considering going into Dustcross to start with.
Although going Dust is kind of risky. Well, but playerzero does have one mock gun. And oh no, wait, that's it? Yeah, like okay, in terms of cursor chips, playerzero only has one machine gun. And a race man, of course. Okay, so DrugsAreBad should be fairly safe.
Yeah, that being said, the only defense DrugsAreBad has in their hand is Invis, and Invis is very good at blocking machine gun if you are able to react fast enough.
Yes, the machine gun is crazy fast.
Looks like DrugsAreBad decides to go with the slightly safer play, going with a bit of defense, area control, and ice shield at the end to try to set up for the future turns.
Yo, playerzero, you fatty. Say some rock for everybody. You know, that first turn life aura, man.
Yeah, so being able to take in the cubes is actually really big in this position because if DrugsAreBad was able to do that instead, then they could have had a chance of firing the cubes as buster shots that deal 200 breaking damage, which would remove the life aura.
Oh, yes, that is true. Any object that Dustcross absorbs is 200 damage, like no matter what it is. So try not to get hit by those rock cubes or the air spin or anything like that.
Ooh, nice. And looks like DrugsAreBad did manage to get the Habash turn 1, though they don't have too many options to take with it, so they might end up going with the edge code.
Okay, that was crazy fast. Well,
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
So I was just going to say, this is the power of being in Dustcross.
Yes, Dustcross, for those unfamiliar, it allows you to select chips and set it down the dust chute, which sends it to the back of the folder order. Which means it's not gone; it's just sent to the back of the line, which basically allows you to shuffle through your folder even faster. I guess the good thing DrugsAreBad doesn't have to worry about is beat, because playerzero is not running beat. Oh my gosh! Target lock! Bam!
And yeah, the machine gun does connect.
Ooh, 4 hits from that.
Yeah, as people are saying in chat, so the Habaj could have been 3-frame because decrossing technically cancels your animation, and that could end up causing you to lose your chip basically if you end up being decrossed, though the timing is a bit close on it.
Oh man, this is not a good position. Stuck in a corner with poison? Ugh.
I mean, DrugsAreBad does have the Habaj, so thankfully they will be able to maneuver these broken panels and will receive the float shoes, which will protect from poison.
Oh, that is true. Habaj does provide float shoes along with air shoes. We have not seen Habaj yet, correct?
I think, didn't DrugsAreBad use it in the previous turn?
No, I mean, oh no, my master had Habaj. Right. For those who missed it earlier, Habaj provides the player with all sorts of useful Navi customizer programs. It maxes out your custom screen at 8. It gives you float shoes, air shoes, shield, and that's it. Ooh, that was great. Knuckles!
Looks like most guys end up going into Tango Cross, but unfortunately DrugsAreBad end up being punished very hard by the Neovari into the Meteor Knuckle TFC when they tried to use defense.
Oh, that was too... Uh-oh. Whip it, stop right there.
Ooh, Judgment connects into pulled by Tango Cross into a Windrack.
Oh, jeez. Drugs are bad or not. I would not want to be in their shoes right now. Oof.
Yeah, so they are pretty low on HP, but that being said, they can always go into Spout Cross. So if they go into Spout Cross, as mentioned before, they will get some recovery from using Aqua Chips, but instead looks like they are going for the recovery 300 and some area control, I believe, yeah. Ooh, nice. Being able to deal with the anti-damage for free and then using an area grab to deny the maximum area lock.
Ooh, a slight miss.
The moon does connect.
Oh, the ghost is gonna hurry! Oh! He literally dodged the bullet right there. Oh. Yeah, that's not good. DrugsAreBad has been decrossed 3 times.
Yeah, so they are in a difficult position, though they have already seen Meteor Knuckle, they've seen Neovari, they already saw a good number of options from Player Zero. Looks like they are staying in base Mega Man. Ooh, nice being able to get that.
Oh, just a... Wait, is that gonna make the bear go away?
No, so while the anti-damage animation is active, you are technically fully off the field. So even if that was a wind rack used instead, that barrier 200 would have survived.
Oh, okay, so the barrier is on you, even though the animation is showing it on the field. Okay. I've never seen that kind of interaction, so I wasn't sure how that worked.
Oh, nice, okay.
Interesting. I'm seeing all sorts of fun new stuff here.
Yeah, no.
Back in mind. What?
Yeah, I was just saying, so we are going into game 2 now, and DrugsAreBad decided to go into Dust Cross again.
Burn! That double damage on grass. playerzero fixing his bugs.
Ooh,
They got that really early.
Yeah, turn 1 bug fix is usually pretty nice, especially given that I have custom bug 1.
Ooh. Yo, playerzero is literally on ice right now. Doop, doop, doop.
Ooh, air grab coming down, so that will lessen the effect of the icy, though obviously one thing to keep in mind is that by letting your opponent know where you will be stepping, then you're putting yourself basically in the face of being hit quite a bit more. So even though ice fields can be disadvantageous, you typically want to be moving as much as possible.
It's also fun to slide on the ice.
It is, so actually it can make stuff, it's similar to the warp step bug, which can make some things easier to dodge, interestingly enough.
Although keep in mind, if your body is if your character is Aqua Element, it will actually prevent you from slipping. So if you are Aqua Cross or the Aquaman Link Navi, you actually won't slide on ice.
Ooh, the unfortunate TFC, so now Judgment will regain the whole area as well, so 2 area grabs wasted into 1 Judgment basically.
Oh! Big damage.
And then the extra area grab from DrugsAreBad, so being able to control the area very well.
Get over here! Okay, G-mashed out of that really quick. Yo, again with that playerzero? Yo, back up.
So yeah, I mean, an interesting fact is that Tingle Cross does have that B-back ability, which can bring the opponents into you. I mean, we've seen that happen this game and in the previous match. You can use that to basically maneuver around and force your opponent to be where you want to.
It hurts.
Ooh, both sides going into Tomahawk, though this time DrugsAreBad does have the area advantage. So they are able...
Ooh, that Time Storm Boomer just barely swift.
now DrugsAreBad is considering their options. They are quite a bit ahead on HP, though obviously we've seen it plenty of times already. HP isn't everything in the match. Things can switch very quickly.
Oh yes, as you seen last match, your HP numbers don't mean diddly squat. You can literally be deleted in an instant. So do not blink, do not breathe, and do not flinch while watching these incredible matches. Well,
Yeah,
actually,
and
not
I mean-
breathe, actually, yeah.
If you flinched during the previous turn, as people are mentioning in chat, you might have missed that the trap that I had up at that point was anti-Navi, and DrugsAreBad should know that at this point, because if it was anti-sword, then the charge shot would have triggered it, and if it was anti-damage, the charge shot would have triggered it as well.
Oh, yeah, and there's so much going on. It really takes a good amount of concentration to keep track of what's going on. Ooh, that was safe. Usually, if you want to go Tomahawk, you gotta have some sort of protection. Just fire shifts are rampant.
Yeah, unfortunately, DrugsAreBad did end up missing their option of decrossing.
Oh! What? Double life sword!
The double life sword does connect, which will close up the gap slightly, but looks like DrugsAreBad is going to go for a very heavy combo-based turn with Windrak into Lance.
Oh my gosh, man. DrugsAreBad is a cut above the rest, but playerzero really knows how to have a slice of fun. I don't know how you pull that off, playerzero. Like, great job on that. Oh! That double damage lands from behind.
Ooh, the Windrak coming in a bit too late, which will end up
Ooh.
our game 2.
playerzero, could you tell our viewers what is the combination to do the double life sword?
So double life sword is up B, down B, up B, and I think there is another down B at the end. I don't actually fully remember the inputs. I just go through
Smash
it.
it, right?
I mean, not really mashing. The game is pretty. Basically, it doesn't punish you for putting the right inputs. I mean, the wrong input, but I just basically go through the motion. I've done it so much, basically. And unfortunately, Bitmuffin is very disappointed in chat. Well, I mean, you know, sometimes happens. Sometimes you want to get in the extra input in case one of them was missed from that mash. You never know.
Okay, that's cool. No playerzero, no bug fix for you. I mean, there's no bug fix. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, bug fix does come out, but thankfully, DrugsAreBad is able to get that decross. So that was pretty nice movement there.
DrugsAreBad says they're gonna have to steal that playerzero tech. The playerzero has some good moves. Neryth says it's up B down B 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 up down B up.
I mean, if you do that, it will work. So that is technically true.
Yeah, that's true. If you press that, you will eventually get it. Although the time is what, like a second and a half.
I'm not too sure on the window. I know for double life sword, it's actually you don't have that much time if you end up messing up the input, so it's actually pretty close. But now we see aerial exchange. Ooh, and the decross counter hit. Unfortunately, ooh, that exchange doing in a lot of damage in that one turn.
Golem it!
Yeah, so fun fact about anger is that there are 3 main ways that you can get the anger proc. The first one is taking over 300 damage in base Mega Man. I mean, all of these are in base Mega Man, but taking over 300 damage in one hit. The second is being paralyzed for over 121 frames, which a counter hit does do that. And the third one is flinching for too long, which I don't think we'll end up seeing since neither of the players are playing uninstall.
Also remember, Rush can cause it too.
Yeah, so again, Rush does give that long paralysis, which if you don't mash or very limited matching, then you can get that free anger and play your turn around that.
It's pretty scary to have Rush like used against you like that. Oh man, that fist is still there.
Yeah, so just basically thinking through the turn, seeing what chips to take, especially with how complicated DrugsAreBad build is. They have a lot of decrossing options against Tomahawk. Ooh, though that double point is coming out, so we might end up seeing the B-Banish.
No!
Very good. So yeah, unfortunately, DrugsAreBad end up using their machine gun into bees, which is very painful, as we saw there, especially with bees boosted plus 60 and ×2 from that Tomahawk.
Oh my gosh, man. That I have PTSD because that's happened to me so many times. It hurts. I'm sorry to see that happen to you. You have my condolences.
Yeah, so I mean, the thing you ideally want to do is as soon as so we have public setup, so you know your opponent is playing B-Banish, but even if you don't know that, going into Tomahawk and using double point is already a very big flag that B-Banish will be coming next, so better watch out. So ideally there you want to wait on your machine gun and try to avoid the bees as much as possible. Obviously you didn't have any defense, which does make it a bit of a difficult situation. But ideally there you want to wait. But yeah, well played. That was a very close match actually. If these bees didn't connect, then it could have really gone either side.
All right, let's see. Player 0, I won the last match. And on to round 4.
That has Rocku and Chocola.
But as we go into this next match, I'm going to be switching commentary with Neryth. It was a lot of fun casting with everyone. So thank you guys for joining.
No, don't leave me here.
4 players.
5 player 0. All right, since he's gone, I can finally start my plan. No one's here to stop me.
What? No, don't badmouth player 0 right behind his back.
Oh,
He's still running the stream, right? He can hear
dang
you.
it. Dang it, Neryth, you ruined my plot.
Hello, Eurasia.
guys.
It's me, player 0.
Oh, wait. Please.
Please. Okay, it's good to see you guys.
Yo,
I'm here
Neryth,
to
it's been
cast
too
this,
long.
yeah, it has. But yeah, I'm here to cast this next set with you guys. This looks like it's Rocku versus Chocola.
Chocobo. I'm sorry, Chocola.
Chocola. Alright, so yeah, this looks like Falzar versus Gregar with V code. Well, yeah, it looks like VG code. Just got the uninstall and Groundman SP out of G code coming from Rocku. And then this B code with a lot of splash coming out of Chocola. So looking at these setups, this is a really interesting Falzar setup actually. It is a humor bug. It's got poem, so it's going to have those ×2 procs. And it's also completely maxed out buster stats. So attack max, speed max, charge max.
Have we seen humor bug been used yet? No, right?
Not today. I don't think so.
Okay, for those unaware, 2 programs specifically, Poem and Humor. Yeah, it's Humor. Poem and Humor. Normally in game, those 2 Navi customizable parts don't do anything. They just make Mega Man and Land do funny stuff. But if you bug it, it makes Mega Man emotional, which is why it is called the emotion bug. As it forces Mega Man to change his emotional state every, I forget how many frames, like every second and a half or 2 seconds.
Hey, I resent that. I think Mega Man should be allowed to be emotional whenever he wants to be. He shouldn't have to have this Navi cust piece in order to feel emotion.
I do want to agree with you, but that's the unfortunately how things are. You have to install that or bug it. The last bit, Mega Man switches between normal state, tired state, full synchro, and anger. However, it is random in between which one it could be. So if you end up being tired and you go to the custom screen, you end up not being able to beast out. So you have to be careful with that. So it could be used against you. Like it's all down to the RNG.
Yeah, it can definitely be a double-edged sword. So we'll see how it plays out for Rocku here. On the other side, we have Chocola using this pretty standard Gregor cust, 1500 HP with attack max, charge max, and air shoes. So it's a very low cust build. It's only got that custom one, so a total of 6 spaces in their hand to choose chips from. But in exchange, it's got this utility and this power and just a little bit of padding right there. And it does have that rush as well, so it, that will eat one of Rocku's invisibles. It's very useful for that. And while there is some counterplay available, it still basically eats up one defensive chip on your opponent's side.
The important thing also is that Chocola is also running air shoes, which is generally what you want to have on Gregor if possible, simply because Pulsar has 2 options for air shoes by default, like Beastoff, Pulsar, and Tengu. Gregor has no air shoes option at all. So having air shoes can be a lifesaver, or else, you might end up fighting Neryth and end up getting Gundel sold to death.
That's just a risk you take, right?
Anything else of note to see?
I think that's about it. Just that, having to watch out for that double point fully boosted Super Vulcan coming out of Chocola's side, and then at the same time, Chocola having to watch out for that double point fully boosted Super Vulcan coming out from Rocku's side. So we'll see who lands the Super Vulcan, or if the match gets to that point.
It's the double Vulcan threat. All right, Neryth, battle operation set.
Hey, don't forget about me too. I'm player 0. I won the last match.
Yeah, that's true. Player 0 deserves praise. For that incredible victory.
I'm sorry.
I can't help but feel like player 0 is being badmouthed here. I get this weird feeling. Like his good name is being dragged through the mud here.
Good name? Remember, player 0, now just plain 0.
Oof. Alright, but yeah, so this opening turn, you already see a lot of the components. Super Vulcan and White Capsule here. So,
wow!
Rocku.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that... Bubble Star, Super Vulcan, double point... Well, double point is ranked. But with the White Capsule right there, they practically have everything out. They practically have everything set up.
So major issue here would be, Rocku might want to go into Dust this turn and then make use of that full cust, get some shuffling out, because they still have that chance of getting that attack plus 30 as well. Of course, if they choose not to use the attack plus 30 with their Super Vulcan, they can also attach it to a static or a machine gun too. There's a lot of options in their folder for that getting that attack plus 30 value as well.
Okay, seems like for now that Rocku is gonna play it safe. Ooh.
And Rocku starting off blind here.
Oh!
Oh no, but it wasn't lined up.
How unfortunate. I see you. No, I see you.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, 400 damage.
400. That times 2 Judge Man gets multiplied again, another times 2 by that bubble. So 400 damage from that bubble star Judge Man.
Wow, you weren't just judged, you were super judged.
Yeah, just a brutal amount of damage. Unfortunately, Chocola did not manage to connect with that Blast Man SP on grass. Otherwise, Rocku would already be on the back foot here.
I would have been crying if that hit me. Ow. Whoa. Yo, can't see this, can't see that. That fire hit took care of the anti. No. Good boy, Rush.
Ooh, and that's a perfect setup here. Still having that full cust in their hand right there does mean that Rocku has the option of going with Dust Cross, carrying their hand over, and then getting next turn. But oh no, looks like they're just gonna go into Spout Cross here. This could be a very interesting mind game.
Freeze!
Ooh, and that Element Man freeze is going to...
Those little bullets hurt.
Ooh, unfortunately, Rocku's Spout Cross charge shot did not line up. It didn't connect with Chocola's charge cross. Otherwise, that would have been a D cross right there.
Yeah, that getting really ruined things for Rocku. But at least they drew Bug Death Thunder. Oh, okay. And they might be setting up the Paralyze to try to confirm the Super Vulcan.
So it was a very interesting mind game going on right there. Rocku actually went into Aqua to try to force Chocola out of Charge Cross, try to get a D-Cross. Ooh, but this is not a good matchup here in terms of crosses for Rocku.
Yeah, Rocku will not be able to avoid this. That shockingly hot breath. Oh man, that breath was kicking so hard it decrossed Rocku.
Yeah, absolutely brutal there. Not able to squeeze out a Bug Death Thunder charge either by the end of that turn, so it should complete very quickly at the start of this turn, but still a rough situation for Rocku.
This could be game if that Bug Death Thunder lands and then the Super Vulcan lands. Because that is attack plus 30, it's attack plus 60. So, what, attack plus 90?
Yeah, definitely. That would be 1100 damage. So if it connects, that would be the end for Chocola right there. But you have to keep in mind, there's a lot that Chocola could also hit Rocku back with at this point, like a Kernel Force.
Oh yeah,
their own Super Vulcan.
Oh, D-Cross! Uh-oh. Real slice. Was that white pill? Yeah, it was white pill.
Oh wow, the white pilled Proto Man SP, leaving Rocku vulnerable to that wind rack at the end there.
I was thinking that was the only reason why. You usually want to avoid making them blink on the final HP, because that gives them an opportunity to recover from it. Genius move. Very, very smart move.
Yeah, very interesting cross mind games between these two players here. Rocku in the last match avoided going to Dust turn 1 because Chocola predicted that Rocku would go into Dust, went into Erase Cross with the Erase Man turn 1, trying to line up with that. And then after that, Rocku went into Spout Cross to try to force Chocola away from Charge Cross, but then Chocola beasted on that same turn. So Rocku is really playing around that Bug Death Thunder, trying to set up the win condition for it, but not able to get there. And Chocola's Charge Cross is going to be a major obstacle there, with the ability to just charge right through the Dark Thunders.
And you see, this is all from a game made for kids, released back in 2005. So, Battle Network is deep. If you're not playing Battle Network, you really should join the N1GP Discord. We make it really easy to get set up, and it's a lot of fun. You can join us in glorifying the deletion of young kids.
Damn, Eurasia, you really make it sound pretty twisted, but it is a lot of fun.
Not
I'm not so
twisted.
sure about that deletion of little kids part, but the fun part is true.
Mega Man's 11. Uh-oh. First turn getting. I see you. I see you again. Uh-oh. Oh, LMS still hits? Even over a hole? Oh, I actually didn't know that. So that counter hit was unfortunately canceled out by the humor.
Dude, and this is very interesting. Chocola ending this turn being bubbled here. It's gonna have to force a either beast or cross change. Otherwise, Rocku's gonna get this ×2 damage on the incoming Elect Dragon.
Oh man. Yeah. Static hits 3 ahead? Or is it 2 ahead?
I do think Static would hit there, but Chocola crosses out. Goes into Heat Cross here. Oh, wow. 580 damage coming out from that Proto Man SP, taking away the Tengu Cross from Rocku.
Proto Man's probably really happy from all those confirmed hits. Oh! Remember, everybody. Remember, everybody, if you blinked, you just missed 700 damage right there. And if that was full sync, that probably would have given Rocku the game. If that was full sync.
Yeah, definitely. If Rocku had the ×2, that would have been game right there.
So, you know, double point is really powerful, but because it's a time stopper, it literally tells the opponent, okay, they added +60 to something big is coming. So, the minute you use it, you're just shouting, hey, I'm gonna use this chip next! Okay? So, I really want to use it more. I just keep getting stopped.
Erase Man and Element Man being used here. Element Man gets blocked by the anti-damage, but Erase Man will connect against Chocola, who an anti-damage star also lands as a result. Oh,
that's game. That is game. Oh man, that did not rock for Chocola.
And now that is game 3. They're tied 1-1 right now.
Oh man. So much back and forth. If we see one more Proto Man Tengu confirmed kill, I'm gonna hire him because that Proto Man's getting some big work this Blood Moon. Well, both Proto Man and Tomahawk have been getting some good damage.
I don't want to talk about that.
Jonathan JJ asks, would you use double point to bait your opponent into using a certain chip? You could mind game it, but you have to think about if it's worth sacrificing one whole row of your area. So you could just keep in mind the deficit you will be suffering from it. So that mind game better outweigh the cons of that. What do you think, Neryth?
For sure, you can use it to bait an opponent's chip selection, but you have to keep in mind you're also sacrificing one chip slot to do that. So you've got to get some value out there. Better be a big chip selection mind game going on.
Oh right, I did not think about that. That's also one chip being used. Ooh, that confirmed. Oh, they already moved. Oh, hit him. Oh, they got him.
Yeah, the second time Rocku has connected with that double point static, just a huge amount of damage coming out.
Man, Rocku has really been ecstatic this game. For the past few games, actually. Was that extra hits on the static from the slide? Don't they all end at the same time? Is it even possible to get any extra damage from that?
I'm actually not sure. It might be possible to get a few extra hits, but personally, I don't use static too much. I respect the chip choice, but it's not for me.
Aww. Ice coil static does more? Really? Oh, Portal man, that's not Tengu. Really?
Rocku using Element Man to pop that anti-damage, following it up with this Blast Man SP for a nice little 250 damage.
I would not recommend Rocku standing on that grass because grass on fire does not make a great combination. And
yeah, Rocku's got to keep in mind that Chocola might retaliate with that exact same Blast Man SP. They both are carrying that same Navi chip, so
if that hits, that'll be what, like 750?
yeah, it should be times 3 for the grass and then the D-cross.
Yo, Rocku, you gotta read the sign. Stay off the grass. If you're Tengu. I mean, a Tomahawk. I mean, you shouldn't be on grass anyway. Grass hurts.
I mean, Rocku loves that grass though in Tomahawk. He's getting that tiny bit of regeneration.
Oh yeah, that region that was nerfed. Ah, sorry, Rush. Status guard is way above your pay grade. Uh-oh!
Or will block whatever's coming.
Got you. Huh. I kind of want to know what that was. It was probably the Super Vulcan, right?
Almost definitely the Super Vulcan there. End up getting chip charged. Chocola recognizing that that life aura is just gonna get rid of the Super Vulcan, just gonna absorb all the hits anyways, and make Rocku safe. So choosing to Beast Charge the Super Vulcan into an Erase Tail, at least getting to destroy Rocku's life aura that way.
Yeah, that would have been bad because that's already 2 big chips wasted and losing that area. So in the end, that is satisfactory results instead of, no life aura being taken away. Erase arrow is dangerous. Bug, death, thunder. Achoo. As a quick reminder for those unaware, Erase Tail Arrow locks on its cursor element and it pierces invisible. So it's a pretty strong beast charge, considering it's also strong enough to pierce life aura at 5 attack.
Yeah, the one problem with the Erase Tail is that it is auto lock on, but it's possible to step it with the proper timing, or with the help of stuff like ice to help you slide around the field. It becomes easier to avoid it. So even though it auto locks on, it's not a guaranteed hit.
Yep. I like to compare it to the blue shell. Really hard to dodge, but it's not impossible. Yo!
Sanctuary!
Oh, that nice, delicious holy panels.
Oh!
Chocola. I forgot about that interaction. Erase Tail Arrow will only hit if the opponent is in front of you. Side to side doesn't count. Although having Sanctuary means that everything's half damage, which means Bug Death Thunder is not going to have the impact it should. Groundman could be good. Destroy that Sanctuary. Neryth, if that Groundman hits, is the first hit like half damage?
I actually don't remember because I think for some panel breaking chips, it'll destroy the panel before the first hit, and for others, it'll do the first hit, which destroys the panel at the same time. And I don't remember which one Groundman is. Groundman might have the first hit get halved. And if that's the case, I'm not sure if that would be enough damage.
Well, Grandma does 390, so if the first one's halved...
Oh yeah, so that'd be 325.
Okay, so it would leave him at 1. Oh! Piercing Invis! Hey, what's up? There you are! That status guard is not gonna let him... Oh my gosh!
Oh no!
Is that gonna be...
Oh no!
They had a boosted Groundman! That was a good game! Oh my gosh!
Unfortunately, Chocola stepped back up, and so even if Rocku used it there, it would have just run right into Chocola and done a single hit instead of the 3 hits, so that would have been blocked anyways.
Got so far! God dang, that was close! Oh man, that was too much. Blood Moon should not be making my blood explode like this. That's just... Oh boy.
Yeah, well played. Both players there, Rocku and Chocola. That was a great set.
Fantastic set. Everyone's been so good so far.
Yeah, and I think with that, we can head into the setups for the next set of the day.
Wait, hold on. I gotta tie my shoes. I'm gonna trip over my lines. No, I'm kidding.
So this next set of the day should be Symes versus Alrysc.
Alrysc?
And it is another Falzar versus Gregor match, so...
I want to thank you for reading that out loud. I wasn't sure how to pronounce that. Alrysc? Okay.
Yeah, so Symes on the left here with this S-Code Falzar setup. Very interesting build. It is an 1800 HP build with a Gig +1. So Symes is running both base Anomaly and Hub Batch at the same time. A lot of this folder is pretty interesting. That you've got the double point attack +30, and I don't see a white capsule in there. So this isn't like the Super Vulcan builds that we saw last set.
I think this is the first time I've ever seen 3 Gigas in one folder.
Oh yeah, and Alrysc's build on the right is very brave, and
Wait. I just realized there's no HP in there.
yeah, this is a 1000 HP setup with 3 gigas, so very little padding on Alrysc's side on the right.
Wow. Going into battle with no armor, just a big sword. Alrysc has my respect.
Hey, Alrysc has armor. That's super armor right there. What are you talking about?
That's armor intervention from flinching, not taking more hits. That's...
Well, armor's armor, okay? Armor's armor.
Oh man, I'm enjoying how Symes folder is sus also. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, we'll see whether Alrysc's 3 gigas can triumph over Symes' 2 gigas here.
Though, isn't base by itself like what, like 480 or something like that?
Yeah, it is 480 before boosts. So if the attack was 30 or I don't see a double. Yeah, no, there is a double point on the other side. So they could be super boosted base, and that would be pretty dangerous to deal with.
Yeah, though Symes has 2 invisibles and 2 anti-damage, however, so hopefully timed properly so Symes suffers all that damage at once.
Yes, I too am praying for Symes' deletion here.
But I know there's one thing to expect: a great match, because this is going to be amazing. Are you ready, Neryth?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
Hyper Beam in YouTube chat says Alrysc, more like all risk. Kind of hard to hear the difference there, but yeah, Alrysc actually did use all risk as the pronunciation guide, and just told us straight up that's how you pronounce it. He's all risk.
Okay, that's an awesome name. Rocku says puns. Yes. Ooh. That life aura. See, it's always good to use to trigger rush at the end of the turn, so you can easily just cross cancel.
Yeah, and a very funny double full cast about to happen here. Symes is going to get the advantage here thanks to Dust Cross, but Alrysc is going to be able to cross out of this paralysis here.
Unless they have something really good to make up the difference. But it might not be worth all that damage, because 1000 HP makes you pretty squishy.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting... There it is, the instant full cast from Symes. So 2 turns skipped just like that. We are now in turn 3 of this match.
Man, that kind of reminds me of summer vacation back in the day. It goes by in a flash. We just lost 2 turns already.
Yeah, time sure flies by. Alrysc actually being very brave there, not crossing.
Wow!
Not revealing anything.
Yo, no fear! Ugh!
Hub batch getting popped for Symes there, getting all of that juicy attack stats.
Ooh, Erase Man!
Ooh, and this will decross and do double damage here.
Erase Man and Erase Man SP will automatically hit the middle panel if you are placed in the middle, as it always stops on the second one, or on whatever the second position it is, which is pretty good.
Yeah, so it will guaranteed target the second position it's trying to fire at. So if your opponent's just standing there, you can just let it time out on it instead of risking it trying to time it yourself.
EX is the only exception for some reason, because its timing is just different.
Yeah, it's the odd one out.
Ooh, slash! Uh-oh. Ooh, quick step right there. That Global Star's still gonna get rid of it, though.
Oh, Alrysc can't dodge it! Step forward! Yes!
That's gonna pierce the invisible, right?
Yeah, the Judge Man will remove the invis here and pop this anti-damage, so really good value there for Alrysc.
Alrysc, watch out! Go out of the way! He can't hear us! We're wearing AirPods! Move out of the way!
Ooh, but this base anomaly could be lethal if Symes chooses to boost it fully. Just gonna use it as is, though, looks like.
Yo, it's falling stars. it's gonna hit. Oh wait, no, it's not. Never mind. Yo, everyone gets stars. What?
Oh, and it looks like Symes' Space Anomaly got 3 framed by Alrysc base, so it's about to be used right here.
Where's Solex Cross? He would have loved to see this.
Where's Soul? Soul would love to see this.
Because
someone's gotta clip this. Someone's gotta clip for Soul.
Yes, someone clip that. Yo, 3-frame base on a base. You know, I'm slow. I just realized the song playing in the background is just a net theme. I'm so into the fight, I didn't realize that that's not the battle theme.
Yeah, it's very relaxing music playing here. Just chilling out in the web.
Well, according to the background, we're in the undernet, so...
Oh, good point.
Oh no, Erase Man! Is that anti-Navi? No. Like, yes, like another example here. The second spot will diagonal down, so Erase Man will hit diagonal down. Guaranteed. Ah!
Ooh, yeah, nice finish for Symes there. But, you know, that's not what you said about us being in the undernet, based on that background in the last match. Would a heel Navi hear the normal net music playing in the undernet? Because that's just like a normal day for them, right? That's just where they hang out. So I feel like it would be weird for them to hear like the super intense undernet theme usually.
You know, I'm going to be thinking about that all day now. So if they come to the regular net, like how our players are right now, are they going to hear the undernet theme?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good question.
Dang it, I'm not getting any sleep tonight, it looks like. Ooh, erase cross first. My bad barrier. Oh my gosh. Yo, the lava panels, man. As a quick reminder, lava panels do not cause fire damage. Oh!
Wall damage. Oh, wow. 2 hits from that bubble star.
Oh no! Oh god!
Oh my.
Oh my gosh!
Wow. Okay. So, wow. All right.
That's it
the
already?
double point train arrow 3. Yeah, that was two matches. So there must have been a disconnect between the first and second games there.
Oh my.
And that's why we briefly went into a third one there. But that was 2-0 for Symes there with that completely brutal double point charged train arrow 3.
I'm gonna find Symes and charge him with assault with a train arrow. Because that was so much damage that my house fell apart. I felt it here.
Definitely didn't help that Alrysc only had 1,000 HP. So Alrysc definitely playing an Alrysc build with that triple giga base kernel force delta ray. Unfortunately, not able to reach those gigas. Thanks to that explosive damage from Symes.
Oh man, I want to see Alrysc come back again. Gotta see more.
Definitely, but yeah, well played to Symes and Alrysc there.
Yes,
very fun builds.
Yeah, I gotta try that out sometime. It has piqued my curiosity. So, are we moving on to the next match?
Yep. Let's move into the setups for our next set of the day, which should be DrugsAreBad versus HonorNite.
We've already gone over DrugsAreBad. And okay, HonorNite has not played yet, so let's take a quick peek at what HonorNite is using. Oh, I see some good old dragons, G-Dragons. Magnum. Okay, usual Magnum and barriers, good old W's. That Navi customizer. Oh, okay. HonorNite is a fan of animals because they're running Rush and Beat.
Yeah, HonorNite is running the pretty standard Balzar cust with attack 4, 1400 HP, with a cust plus 3, so a total of 8 cust. Got both of the PvP programs in there, Rush and Beat, so gonna steal 1 Invis and steal 1 Mega Chip, or Giga Chip, potentially. Don't forget to feed Beat, guys.
Wow, I just realized HonorNite is using every space in that Navi customizer. Maximum space achieved.
Yeah, this is a very popular Balzar cust. Very old, very popular Balzar cust, classic. especially because of the fact that it does optimize for all the space used.
I remember back in my day, we only used, what was it? Buster Pack and Undershirt. That's it. That's all we used back in my day. I'm glad to see the game has improved.
Back in my day, we feared the outer edges of the Navicust, so we would only use the inside of the Navicust. So we would only use those 25 spaces, and we greatly feared bugs. So we would just avoid bugs entirely. We were very suspicious, very superstitious lot. Did not trust these bugs at all. But with the advent of this technological marvel known as bug stock, all sorts of possibilities are open to us now.
I am very pleased at what I'm seeing here. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see this in action. I'm hoping HonorNite gets the full hits of Knuckles. Although HonorNite, okay, yeah, HonorNite is for EasyA, so it should be possible to get the full hits.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the damage coming out from HonorNite build here. It is a G code with uninstall, so going to remove that that super armor. DrugsAreBad does have hub batch, does have hub batch instead of a damage giga. So we're gonna see some very interesting interactions here. And you know, it being a H code, you do get that Heatman SP, which is something we don't see every day. And so it's a very interesting build coming out from HonorNite. G code with a bit of W splash. You got the double Magnum and the Barrier 200. It's interesting taking the Barrier 200 and W. HonorNite did have the option of taking it in either U or W code. Chose W code, so a little bit more offensive with that chip selection there. And other than that, looks like the chips are pretty standard here. Took the full 3 invis, 3 anti-damage, so a lot of defense. Has full cust, but it's actually not regged. And Grab Revenge is the regged chip there, so a lot of area control. And Groundman SP and Element Man SP. Element Man SP, very good SP Navi to roll with. You can get that extra potential removal for Sanctuary. Get that ×2 damage on grass for 480, or if you bubble your opponent, go for Elect for 480. So just a ton of damage coming out from Element Man SP. Even destroys Life Aura just with its base damage. So definitely a very good SP Navi to run. And with that, I think we can head into the set.
Yes, we can. Let's do it.
So this is from DrugsAreBad's perspective. You see this H code with just a little bit of J in the Judgman SP, the Recovery 300s, and the Hub Dash. So just kind of this dual code.
I enjoy H. I just wish there was a little more of my favorite chips in H code. But let's honestly some more H code action. Uh-oh.
Oh, right on that. And that's a counter to this Barrier 200 coming up too. Very unfortunate.
That hurts. Well, that... Oh man, that ruins plans.
Yeah, it definitely isn't great for DrugsAreBad here, but you got to keep in mind that DrugsAreBad is running a folder that's kind of a little bit more spout oriented, so he was hoping to get a little bit of value out of Dust there before switching to spout, but now back to base Mega Man. Just gonna have to think about the risk of going into spout cross this early, and you know, you've only got one Aqua Dragon in your hand right now, so are you really going to go into spout at this point to get the ×2 on it? So yeah, definitely some choices need to be made here for DrugsAreBad.
Some scratching chin noises, because there's a lot to consider. Most likely, they might go DrugsAreBad might go into a different cross, maybe Tomahawk, and maybe try to get the ice panels going. Like getting the ice panels on the floor first would guarantee a free status.
In Twitch chat, DrugsAreBad actually says, "Oh, I barely think about Spout in this folder, mainly Beast, Dust, and Tengu. But yeah, losing Dust hurt." So it's really interesting because yeah, I guess the only things that the Spout would boost would be the 2 Aqua Dragons, but you do have those freeze combos available.
The bugs are attacking! Well, the good news is that DrugsAreBad managed to get the full area. Oh no.
Ooh, that is a very rough area to work with here. And
Yeah, this is not what you want to be.
Spanish.
Let me double check. DrugsAreBad only has 2 Judgment. No Grab Banish, unfortunately.
Yeah, so no way to return to area at this point in time with their current hand. Just gonna have to work with this with HonorNite sliding around on the opposite side of the field.
This stinks because, again, having those recoveries so early is just taking up space. Like, you never recover this early that fast. Should have taken a beating.
Fast gauge coming down, along with Groundman SP to do a ton of damage here. HonorNite also dropping the Volcast on that turn. Ooh, and I think what that resulted in was DrugsAreBad didn't even have time to react and get the recovered 300s out. Gonna carry them into this turn and use them here.
Sorry, Rush.
Here.
Yeah, barrier stop Rush. Oh, there it is, Hub Batch. To the rescue, yay! It's a bit, well, the problem is HonorNite does have uninstall though. Yeah, like, Neryth, you would recommend waiting for the uninstall before using Hub Batch, correct?
It really depends, because with the loss of Dust Cross, having a Hub Batch to sit around is also going to be potentially an issue.
Knuckles!
Oh,
1, 2,
wow.
3, 4, 5, 6. 6 hits!
Ooh, and check out this area. It's all ice here.
All ice all day.
So DrugsAreBad does have access now to the potential of a Aqua Dragon freeze into the Golem hit for double damage. So let's see if they can execute on it.
Is it possible to when they have all that much area? Whoa! Oh! That was great reaction. I did not know that. I did not know that the Aqua Dragon can freeze twice like that. Oh man, that was great. That evened the odds right there.
Yeah, even with the Wind Rack Lance combo missing, still a huge amount of damage just off the double hit Aqua Dragon into the Golem hit right there. And being in Tengu Cross to pull your opponent to the front, so that once they're frozen, you just suck them forward and hit them in the face with the Golem hit.
Get over here! Might as well call it Tengu Cross, Scorpion Cross. It is a shame that the Wind Rack didn't hit, but yeah, it come here, cupcake. Oh man, it's great plays like that I love.
Yeah, definitely huge combos. Really big plays coming up from DrugsAreBad. And looks like Hutbatch is gonna get popped this turn.
Everyone has anti. All right, Tengu doesn't have float; they only have air shoes. Kind of forget about that sometimes.
Yeah, definitely kind of an awkward situation. You know, 2 Tengu crosses with anti-damages up right now. Could easily lead to kind of a chain of stars falling on each other's heads. DrugsAreBad, still working with some bit of area deficit here. Gonna have to come up with a way to land his damage. Some of these star-coded SP navies, or star-coded navies, I should say.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, it might be very good for setting up some combos here as well.
Can you imagine if we had star-coded SP navies? That'd be fun. Erase Man! Piercing invisible, and they're removing the trap. Oh, that actually hit.
Ooh, barrier 200, gonna block this element, man.
Oh! Oh wow, it hit. Winnie Whistle asked, I was gone for a bit, did anything big happen? You missed a lot. You missed so much that I cannot condense it into a few sentences.
Yeah, we can't even begin to describe it to you.
Sorry.
Just know that you missed what could have potentially been the most amazing moment of your life.
Yes, and you missed it. Sorry. Ooh. Oh, finally getting all the area back.
Ooh, yeah, but unfortunately, it won't even pop the anti-damage on HonorNite's side. That Invis gonna come in clutch here and protect that extra layer of defense.
Sorry, Rush. Status guard is way above your pay grade. Oh, there it is. Decrossed.
Oh yeah, the uninstall there was attached to the Wood Dragon.
Yeah, I said decrossed. Oh boy! Oh, that custom is gone. Oh no, wait, no, that's just the end of their folder, right?
Yeah, I believe this is just the end of their folder.
I'm about to say, like, wait, I don't remember uninstall removing a custom. Like,
yeah, I was like, I don't remember uninstall being that strong.
Oh man, that would have been horrible. You removed your custom parts too. Imagine super uninstall doing that. Removing your whole Navi custom.
Super uninstall just removes your HP memory too. It just sets you to 100 HP.
Oh my god. Oh no, Sanctuary. Alright, the Blast Man on the Fantine. Ah, that's still hit.
Ooh, not able to connect with that Judge Man.
Wait, is that okay? Oh!
Oh no! Oh no!
Wait!
Bad. Only has no chips left. Has to go into Beast Over. Just to win his turn, but oh no! And it's only turn 11.
Was that Fast Gauge?
I believe this is Fast Gauge, yes.
No, I guess even
HonorNite.
drugs are bad. I because even drugs are bad knew when to call it.
Yeah, HonorNite closing that one out. Forcing drugs are bad to beast over there, just with no other options left.
You know, it's actually really cool seeing these other beast charges hit.
Yeah, the Tengu Breath is one of my favorite beast charges personally, and I just love using it. In fact, the folder I was running this new moon cycle is kind of designed to help set it up. So
Great, that's scary. Barrier. No. No. Rush for everybody. Good hit. Oh!
ooh,
Those
very nice movement from HonorNite there, stepping down and tanking that ice sea to the face to stop it from spreading the ice panels everywhere.
You know, an icy to the face would be nice in the summer when it's like 100 degrees outside. I am enjoying drugs are bad, bringing some chill to the summer. Because remember, summer's not done yet.
Yeah, it's true. Summer's never done. Summer is all year round.
Torpedo says
We're
icy.
millennials. We're millennials. We're gonna have to get used to summer being all year.
Remember, I'm from the silent generation. I'm older than that.
Ooh. Oh, okay. I can't talk to you.
Good old days of prohibition.
All right, so drugs are bad here. Looking at this Judgman SP here, you know, being able to connect with this would set up a really nasty combo, potentially the Lance Windrak combo.
You know, I feel like they purposely made it 190 so it would not break life for her.
Ooh, yeah, that's true. Drugs are bad says in Twitch chat, gotta feed the bird though. That's true. I don't believe Drugs Are Bad has used up HonorNite's beat yet, so something's gonna have to go into that, I believe.
Man, I hate feeding beat. Always lose. He always eats my steak and leaving me with grilled chicken. It's messed up.
Hey, that's the healthy option.
But it's not the stronger option, you know? I want to use that Colonel Force. I don't want to end up using Element Man regular. Ooh. Ooh, Grab Revenge. As a reminder, Grab Revenge does more damage than Grab Bash. Ah, smacked. Whip it good.
Ooh, those two books sneaking in right before this anti-damage. Getting that 80 damage in, but unfortunately that doesn't mean HonorNite will have this anti-damage here.
Oh, right. The books don't blink you. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was a tough call to make for Drugs Are Bad. Either they would have had to wait for the anti-damage to finish going up, and then use the Judgman SP just to pop the anti-damage near the end of the turn. Or they had to do what they did and just settle for that 80 damage sneaking in through the Judgman SP books.
It's those big choices which you have to make literally like on the spot. It's really tough to really give it a thought when, you know, you got the opponent blasting you in the face.
Oh wait, I just realized Drugs Are Bad didn't carry that that star-coded Navi that turn to throw the beat, so that was they only could use it as a beat feed for that 80 damage in the area. Ooh, and HonorNite getting some very cheeky damage in here, sliding up with that Tengu rack and just throwing chips down, throwing these dragons down at DrugsAreBad.
I really hate beat. See. Oh, I just realized HonorNite is number 1. 1. Magnum. Oh! Just one tick off.
Oh.
Yo, that Tengu hot breath right there, man.
Yeah, and because uninstall landed that previous turn, getting clipped by that Tengu beast charge, that's gonna be real painful.
Yeah, because Tengu's beast charge will not make you blink, but it'll make you flinch. So you hit by one, you get hit by all of them.
Yeah, definitely the loss of super armor is gonna make HonorNite's Tengu beast charge a lot more dangerous here.
Drugs are bad. Remember, there is no pain, only fun in Battle Network.
DrugsAreBad went into Ground Cross. This actually, Ground Cross actually gives super armor, so HonorNite will not be able to get another multi-hit here with that Tengu beast charge.
I'll be honest, I really thought you said Grandpa for a second. I'm like, what? Oh no, he said Ground Man. Wow, flexing with the lightning. Muffin ass, I thought float doesn't stop sliding on ice. Float does stop sliding on ice because you're actually not on the ice. That is correct, right, Neryth?
Yeah. You can think about float shoes as kind of like, what would be a good way to describe it? It's kind of like hover shoes. But
yeah.
If there's no panel there to begin with, you still can't step on it. You're just gonna fall into the abyss. You need something to like push off of still. But it stops you from like having the effects of that panel.
It's also good, and as it actually will not activate mines either. So you actually are not touching the panel. Ooh!
DrugsAreBad managing to take down that life aura with a golem hit, but still in a desperate situation here. A huge HP difference, and HonorNite has anti-damage up, I believe.
Yeah, this is not looking good for for DrugsAreBad. And also, as a reminder, do not take this as an argument against drugs, because, you know, drug chips are great. But I'm still rooting for, I am still rooting for them. DrugsAreBad could still come back. My precious. Oh man, not sure how much attack power DrugsAreBad has left though. Oof, that was close.
Ooh, very nice. Avoiding this ground man SP with the help of Invis.
Ooh. Oh no! And that took the area back. And he flinched because he had the super armor. They could Lance to pull him forward into Aqua Dragon to freeze him. Wait, what? That was strange. Oh, double Lance.
Oh, that charged Lance right there. ×2 damage.
Can you imagine getting Lance like that? Like, bamboo can be sharp.
Yeah, and it grows real fast. It just grew right out of the back there.
Yes. Oh, there's another anti. And Sanctuary? Okay, I really hate to admit it, but this is looking really grim. Come on, drugs, you can... Wait. I don't think I should show my support like that.
Yeah,
I might get flagged.
Oh no!
One hit! One hit! It kind of reminds me of that episode of Fairly Odd Parents with Mark, where he blasted him and he missed somehow. I need an umbrella for that. There's the one downside to using Meteor Knuckle with there's so much area around me.
Ooh no, a charge shot connects there for HonorNite.
Oh, why? That sounds like farting.
Oh no.
Spell communication. Infinite power!
Oof, unfortunately, this is the final turn here.
Is that bullet gonna hit? If that bullet hits, I'm gonna be very sad. I mean, if they survive this... Oh no, wait, it's the last turn, never mind. No! Oh man, that they both went beast over.
Yeah, well played to DrugsAreBad and HonorNite there. HonorNite managing to get a little bit of extra value out of some of their chips there. Just having some pretty big impact from stuff like Sanctuary at the very end too. And unfortunately, DrugsAreBad didn't go for some of those splash defense options and splash utility options. Was relying on a Judgeman SP and Judgeman for the area control. That resulted in some really rough area positions early on.
Oh, yeah, if you do not have control of your area, you're going to have a really tough time. Especially if the opponent is not only A, has a charge shot that will hit you continuously, but B, possibly put something in the back row, a whole bunch of other bad things that can happen to you if you do not have control of your area. Oh, yeah. Man. Cannot believe my heart can't take much more. Oh, okay, we are in the last match.
Yeah, I want to play both of them, but this is going to be the final set of the day.
Yes, although my heart is happy, my soul is sad. Because watching these matches makes me feel young, but watching them makes me feel old too. Because there's so much action going on! Why is this a good and a bad thing?
I don't know what you're talking about. Personally, my soul is just like missing. It's just absent. You know what I mean? Because I can't believe Soul wasn't here to see that base trade-off right there.
I hope somebody clipped that.
I really hope that was clipped. Someone's got to send that to Soul. But yeah,
Alright.
so our final set, player 0 versus Shadow.
Shadow play earlier today? I don't know. Shadow not play today. Awesome. Like player 0 has played earlier. You know, player 0 has that folder. Lots of M, lots of some U. Shadow's running S, but yeah, of course Shadow's gonna run S. And we see a nice Z for Sanctuary. As you saw last match, Sanctuary really can make a difference when used when used at the right time. That half damage really adds up.
Yeah, definitely Sanctuary is pretty impactful. So yeah, on player 0 side, we have seen their build earlier today, but it was quite some time ago. It's got that M code mixed in with the Meteor Knuckle, Neo Variable, and then a little bit of defense coming from U code, the Life Aura and Barrier 200. Only running 3 Mega Chips, so very light on the Mega Chips.
Yeah, it's only running 3.
Yeah, so by default, you can pick 5 Mega Chips. Player 0 opting for 3 there. M-Code does have a lot of damage built into it already, and especially a lot of damage that you can charge with Tomahawk. And there's the 5 area grabs, so...
Yeah, player 0 definitely has a lot of power packing into that folder. We haven't seen Muramasa hit though, but we have seen Neo Variable hit. Shadow's big damage looks like it's gonna be okay. I'm not seeing any big damage combos there, but I am seeing a lot of chips that can hit. A lot of chips that can hit sequentially, and also you have Aqua Dragon to help set up freeze and Bubble Star for being bubbled. Also running 3 Invisibles and 3 Anthems, and Bubble Wrap, and Life Aura, and Help Etch. Okay, that's a lot of backup right there. Oh, okay, I'm gonna enjoy seeing Shadow's Chip Shuffle and Humor in one package. How about you, Neryth?
Shadow always runs very interesting setups. So yeah, the Chip Shuffle Humor build, it's gonna be very funny. Got that shield in there too, because you know you're staying in base Mega Man form for that humor glitch anyways. So you might as well have shield to give you a little bit of a defensive edge while you're sitting there. It's going to be very interesting to see this matchup because player 0's actually running a really weird 1900 HP charge max, attack max. So it's a buster focused Bowser build. You get those really strong charge shots. You get that extra damage from beast charges. Playing with 5 area grabs. So player 0 is going to be playing very aggressively with their crosses probably. And on the other side, you have Shadow, who's kind of going to be more content to sit around, wait for those humor procs, wait for the ×2s, and just play defensively with the shield until then. And like you mentioned, there's not too much like big combos that have like damage amplification on top of them, but there is a lot of stuff that can you can throw into the wrenches. You can throw a wrench into your opponent and just throw a bubble star at them, a flash bomb at them, kind of stuff that will just stop your opponent in their tracks. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out.
I'm expecting a lot of pain and bubbles. So let's go. Last operation. Set. There, you didn't execute it.
What? Was that my job? Huh? What?
Yes. I say last operation. You say execute.
I don't
Thank
get
you,
it.
HonorNite.
Why would I say that?
I'll tell you later. Right now, we got to see this match. It's a Guardian field on grass. So, are we fighting on my lawn or something?
This is yeah, the garden gnomes out front, huh?
Yes. This is gonna be fun. Oh boy. Oh no, wait,
This is hilarious. Neither player, because of Shadow's setup, he doesn't want to go into Dust Cross. He wants to fish for humor procs, play with you know, this shield.
Oof, that whiff.
But player 0 didn't go into the Dust Cross either, so those Garden Gnomes just sitting pretty up top.
You're just standing there. Menacingly! Because if you do, what is it, 10 damage at once? Or 10 damage total? For those unaware, Guardian has been changed slightly. Before any sort of touch, you even looked at it, it activated. Now it has like a damage threshold. Similar to anti-damage, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe it's any damage will trigger it.
Any? Really?
I thought it was any damage, like even like a one damage P shot. I thought triggered it.
I don't remember one damage P shot triggering it, but then again, I don't often get. Okay, I was gonna scream, I was gonna cry, but I forgot. Oh yep. Oh no, wait.
And yeah, that is a one damage P shot. I think or did Shadow pop the hub batch already?
No, Shadow didn't pop out batch yet. No, you're right then. So it's any damage still. Never mind. My bad. Sorry, guys. See, this is what happens when you get old. You forget the fundamentals.
You never forget the fundamentals. I know that was actually some malicious misinformation you were spreading, you know, as part of your campaign.
Shut up. Don't tell them that. I mean, yo, this match is amazing. All the Guardians are gone. Oh, Flash Bomb. Backup. Yo, even more backup. That's true. Dust Cross, we still haven't seen yet. Oh!
Ooh, and that is anti-sword.
Oh,
wait,
okay.
what?
Ah! Did that hit?
Wait, was that just an anti-damage? Did it get replaced at some point? I could have sworn that was actually... Well, you know what? So when you get older, this sort of thing happens a lot.
I can't tell if that tank cannon hit. We're still blind. Oh yeah, HonorNite says that it was indeed replaced.
Okay, so I'm not going crazy. Thank you.
Not yet.
Bug fix coming down for player 0 here.
Oh!
Wow.
Double static. Very static. Okay, Soul is here. Hey, Soul.
Yeah, don't worry, Soul. You didn't miss anything. Yeah, nothing interesting happened today.
Oop.
Dude, cheeky charge shot connecting.
Uh-oh. Well, I'm just gonna relax and let it go automatically.
Let's see if player 0 can get this double life sword here. Ooh, goes for the sonic boom instead.
Supersonic boom.
Oh, wow!
Oh, that hurt. That was 200 damage right there.
Yeah, Meteor Knuckle coming down there, doing a ton of damage to Shadow, but Shadow retaliating with that Element Man Fire on grass against Tomahawk. So I think that was 300 damage right there.
Oh my gosh, man. You see, if you blinked, you missed their HPs becoming almost equal once again. 7 hits? That was 7 hits? Oh my gosh. Even when I have an area like that, I'm practically not going to get 1. Is it possible to get 0 hits? I swear, if it's possible to get 0 hits, I'm gonna cry. Oh, I get it. Player 0 has a 0 in his name. don't know about that. I feel like that I've missed every time. Well, it makes sense. Duel will not help a dark chip user. Hey, anti-sword.
Player Zero throwing a life aura here, while Shadow finally manages to pull and use this bug fix.
Oh, he was off the field!
Yeah,
that
very
actually
nice
missed.
timing.
Oh, man. Also, fun fact, my friend said the name of that shit was Fish Bomb because that L looks like an I if you're playing it on a Game Boy when you're a little kid. So they told me it was Fish Bomb.
Dude, fish bomb sounds nasty. I don't ever wanna see a fish bomb blow up, okay?
Yeah, me either. Double point!
Ooh.
Oh no! You're frozen!
Player Zero still has this option to cross cancel. I'm surprised they didn't take that chance to throw out their risky honey. I guess Shadow still had defense up or was blinking.
If they hit it one extra time, that's game over because that's. I'm pretty sure that's 16. Oh!
Oh no!
Oh no! If they were back just one more panel, they could have brought down the lightning. Drugs are bad.
Unfortunately.
Drugs are bad ass. Why can't I dodge these like that? Because you didn't use Invis, yeah, pretty much. Neryth, don't die on me. We still have to see more. We must inform the public. Oh!
Oh wow, Player Zero going for the total Ufu move, but fortunately, you are not Uvu. You don't get to spike that hard.
Yeah, sorry, Player Zero. Only Uvu can do that. Ow.
Yeah, only Uvu can do that. The same way only Player Zero can land a 50-hit Meteor Knuckle.
Even though only, 16 hits are possible? Insane.
Yeah, 34 of those hits, they hit you in another timeline, so you still feel them. Oh my god, this is gonna
First one will stop it. It's not gonna stop the other one. Oh man, that was close. That avoided a lot of damage. Nah. There goes Bubble Wrap. The only way to permanently get rid of it is to blow it. Is to blow it away.
You know, that's terrifying. That boosted Groundman SP at ×2, that turns it into basically a Delta Ray.
Oh snap, you're right. 260 damage each, ×3. Stop making me cry.
Yeah, Player Zero actually got a lot of value out of that Life Aura because they were standing on the Holy Panel. Because that let the Holy Panel block one hit, then the Life Aura blocked another hit. Otherwise, the damage would have been crazy right there.
See, Life Aura is better than most health insurances. It actually does got you covered. Unless you're getting hit by Dundell Soul, by Poison, by Anti-Recovery, by Player Zero, or by Neryth. What? Or Wind. Never mind. Life Aura can't protect you from everything. Oh no. All of those hits were not high enough to break Life Aura. Ouch.
Yeah,
The defrost.
It looks like player zero decided that the tempo, it wasn't worth slowing down. Just throw those chips down, get some value from removing the holy panels, getting a little bit of area. Just not gonna miss the damage there.
Uh-oh.
And this flash bomb should destroy the barrier.
Nice. Can't see anything. I'm blind. Yo, player zero telling us to match. Come on, this ain't the anime. You ain't the manga. Stop spoiling.
Ooh, that blind wears that. Oh! Perfectly timed. Perfect counter here. It doesn't block the kunai, but ooh, avoiding the D-cross.
Ah!
Oh no, the Murmasa doesn't connect.
That might have been blocked anyway because they were shielding.
Oh yeah, that's very true. Shadow's shield, very hard to work around here.
Go beyond Neo variable and use Uber variable for quad life sword. I don't want to think about that. If they made a Giga Chip called like Ultra variable, and you could do like quadruple logs life sword. Oh no. Oh god. Oh that. Bees, they're good for your heart. The more you eat, the more you die.
Man, that doesn't even rhyme.
It's not supposed to rhyme. It's not supposed to rhyme.
Well, we all know true things rhyme, right? So clearly that's just got to be a lie. Then you just told another lie.
I didn't lie. I just told an inconvenient truth.
So Meteor Knuckle this turn, along with the anti-Navi, but this could actually be kind of a weird exchange here. Area grab coming down, gonna maximize the Meteor Knuckle damage.
Nope. Knock. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8! 8 hits!
Ooh, not able to line up for the Erase Man, but there should be enough time to close this out with the Neo variable.
Oh no! The turn ended! Is player zero gonna still pull it off? Is player zero gonna get countered?
I think Shadow still has the potential to recover a little bit of HP through the spout cross.
Oh my god, all of this time stop is messing up the timing.
Oh!
Ah! Player zero getting less than 7 hits on Knuckles.
Ooh, and this is game 3 here, so it's 1-1 right now. Players are tied. Player zero on the left so far has been showing some amazing Meteor Knuckle setups. Huge number of hits coming down. Shadow on the right with this humor setup, getting some really big hits out.
It's always funny when that happens. Ah, perma-holes, my arch nemesis. I really hate perma-holes.
Yeah, fortunately you can't do anything about it. They're permanent.
I mean, you could. Be like me and just cry and just give up.
Oh my lord, that's a lot of times too. That's a lot of aqua chips coming out here from Shadow's spout cross. Getting a lot of that times 2 damage. And on this these ice panels, the freezing effect is gonna lock player zero down here.
No, player zero! Don't get kissed by the starfish!
Yeah, playerzero sees it coming, so there's potential here to dodge past it, just weave around it. I'm also gonna throw up this defense just to make sure. Yeah, here's the window to step past it.
Oh.
It looks like the bubble star wasn't charged, but the aqua dragons were, I believe.
You gotta say, like, what? Aqua Spiral! Oh, it's not. The curse. Everything is looking smooth so far. Although playerzero has a slight disadvantage in HP. Remember, as we mentioned before, HP doesn't matter.
Yeah, HP is an illusion, you know. Ooh, anti-sword coming up here.
Oh!
Wow!
Muramasa! Who's daily to proto, man? I think I'm ready for tournaments. Remember, just always play to have fun. Like, winning is fun, but do not go in the mindset thinking, okay, I have to win. Like, I gotta win. Having fun's more important than winning. Is that right, Neryth?
Victory is everything. If I ever lose even a single time, that's the end for me. I'm just gonna retire.
Good thing today's opposite day, so just think of the reverse of what Neryth just said.
Remember, if you ever lose in any activity, if you fail to get first place, you just have to quit. So, you know, if you're in any competitive activity whatsoever, actually any activity at all. So if you go to a, say like an eating competition, speed eating or whatever, you lose, you're not allowed to eat anymore. I mean, that's it. That's just the way it is.
Don't listen to him! Just use dark chips. Oh, that static is so beauty. All right, bug fix. Remember,
Yeah, very static. Very, very sad.
Remember, if you use bug fix, that removes your bugs, which makes static basically a tornado. That is true. In permanent holes, panel grabs are actually much more important. Oh! It actually hit him. Oh! Supersonic boom! Jonathan says, what if you lose a losing contest? Okay, that's kind of sad. I think that's a little too sad even for me. I say if you lose a losing contest, just replay Bound Word 4. Oh, Antonami, what is it? Oh, it's a race man, and they're straight ahead. Oh,
Life Aura, though, on Shadow side. The Life Aura doing a lot of work here.
not for long.
Yeah, playerzero does have this anti-damage available. Interact right off the bat. Ooh. Fortunately, Slashman does get blocked by the anti-damage here.
Well, they're gonna get flash.
Flash bomb. Yeah, the flash bomb will connect as a result.
How can we commentate if we can't see the fight? We've been blind for like this whole round.
Yeah, thanks for nothing, Shadow. running flash bombs.
Can't see anything. My eye.
I think we just haven't developed our senses far enough. We have to close our eyes because Player Zero can't see anything. We just gotta get into Player Zero's mindset, get into Player Zero's shoes, or you can just go into Tomahawk.
That is true. Status guard is your friend.
So a fast gauge was popped earlier, so this means these turns are going to be flying by super fast. It's turn 10 already. Player Zero just gonna be content to kind of sit here. Want to get that value out of this anti-damage, but not sure if it's going to work out then. Oh, and there it is! Shadow getting the better bad exchange.
Okay, I almost thought that Boomer was gonna hit twice again.
Yeah, that looked like a close call.
Uh-oh, double damage from both of them because they're bubbles. Oh wait, never mind. Extra damage from the book.
Yeah, Shadow getting that 20 damage advantage there in that exchange. But it's very interesting. Player Zero's choice here. Can use this double point, I believe.
Remember, it's great to learn because it does 20 damage. Wait, I don't. If that's the case, I don't think it is great to learn then because it hurts. It's time. Some risky business.
Oh no! The Grab Banish confirms it!
Oh, he's still alive! Oh!
A drill finish!
Yo! That was timed so nicely! I have not seen a drill cross kill that did not involve Geddon or something. How?
That's messed up. That's messed up. How could you do it to him like that? Player Zero, how could you do that? What did Shadow do to deserve that?
Well, blind us for basically like half the match. But that still's no reason to oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, Shadow took Player Zero's sight. Player Zero took Shadow's life. I guess that's just the exchange right there. Not exactly in Shadow's favor, but what are you gonna do about it?
That is not equivalent exchange.
But yeah, well played to Player Zero and Shadow. A really tremendous, really good play from both players there. Very interesting builds as well.
I was on the edge of my seat.
And I believe with that, we'll be passing it off to Salad, who has some choice words to say to you all.
Yes, the players are.
Okay, guys, I have a confession to make. I'm not actually Player Zero. Okay, and with that, we have some announcements to make. Wait. Alright, can you hear me now? Great, okay. Alright, so actually Blood Moon signups are still open for, I believe, around 11 more hours, and we actually only have 3 signups right now, so I don't know if people got spooked from the announcement last week about who's eligible to sign up. So the truth is, actually, everyone is able to sign up unless we have 40 participants like last time. This is working, right? I'm paranoid now. Okay, cool. Hello. Yeah, so yeah, remember to sign up for Blood Moon if you want to play for the next 3 weeks. Eurasia, they can't hear you.
Oh.
Okay, now they can hear you. Hello, Eurasia.
I don't want to say it again. I don't want to say how much fun Blood Moon is, or how easy it is to sign up, or how easy it is to get set up.
Yeah, Blood Moon's a lot of fun, guys. It's where you take your non-baby builds, your tried and tested, your builds designed to tear your opponents apart and to just leave them in shreds. It's where you take your serious builds and you go to lose. You just go to get eviscerated by your opponents.
What? Don't worry about getting eviscerated. That's just a side effect of the fun.
Okay, well, moving on from that, I want to talk a little bit about the audio issues we had today that made me really sad after all of the cool stuff we set up thanks to donations. it really just makes me want to cry. But I have another announcement to make. We have... They're on screen. Okay, there we go.
It's repeating.
Alright. So, we actually got a donation right after last week's stream from Mabo Corson for a whopping $102. So, I mean, it made me so happy that I could cry.
What? That's very nice.
Okay, and yeah, so as Salah mentioned, we did thank you everyone for the donations. And so donations to the N1GP Ko-Fi are basically used to support and improve the N1GP and our event. So again, thank you everyone. All of the donations are very much appreciated. And I mean, we talked about it a bit, but if you noticed an improvement in the casters' microphones, then that is thanks to everyone donating. We were able to upgrade the mics for our casters, as well as getting new software that will hopefully we're going to work through in the coming weeks to make sound even better than what it is now. And there is also an announcement. So we will be opening caster commissions very soon. So there will be a post made about that, so keep an eye out. But basically, it's going to be very similar to the commission system we have already, where you can basically submit a match that you want to have casted by our commentators. More information will be coming out soon, so don't worry if you don't know everything for now, just finishing up everything. And yeah, thank you everyone.
Yes, thank you, everybody. It's always a lot of fun to see you all. Remember, Battle Network is still going on strong. I'm very happy to see people still playing it to this day.
And well, I think you can see on screen some of the commissions we already have up. So we're probably going to expand that list as well, add more people there. So they're all very greatly appreciated.
Yo, that Proto Man's good.
Yeah, if you want some beautiful artwork by our resident artist, playerzero, just you know where to go.
Yep. $5, guys, for your very own personalized playerzero masterpiece. And with that, I believe we are about set for the stream.
Yes, thank you very much for the matches. Everyone played fantastic. I'm gonna take a ride in the N1GP Lamborghini. I'll see you all next time.
Goodbye. It's me, Player Zero.